understand that there are chieftaincy issues here and there. Questions for a regional security council and national security council to start answering. We'll get into the matters.
Sunrise.
And what you doing? Smile will bring us sunshine.
3FM Sunrise.
On the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning, MPP worst borrower, according to Stephen Intim, who's chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Opuni trial to start afresh. High Court judge rules. He's taken over from Justice Honyanuga. And GTA launches 50th anniversary. Soup on breakdown vehicles. National Road Safety Authority (MTTD) act towards crash-free Easter. It's too late though, but they need to work at this. I tell you. Local vaccine manufacturer receives $5 million grant. Pharmacy Council to clamp down on drug trafficking. On the front page of the publisher, COP Nathan Kofi Boachi Esquire resigns today on his birthday from the Ghana Police Service. What's happening within the quarters of the police? Last week was Ifya Tenge, Superintendent Ifya Tenge. Now Kofi Boachi is resigning. Who next? Samia Uku sticks neck out. Baumia must win. He would make a great president. NPP elects flag bearer on November 4 and Donald Trump arrested in court. Energy Digest. Can Ghana attain nuclear power status by 2030? Natural gas, Ghana's transitional fuel. Energy Minister pitches strongly for Ghana in Barcelona. West Africa needs renewable energy revolution. Afenyo Marking is deputy majority leader. Replace worn-out cylinder hoses. Rubber seals regularly. MPA urges public. And Napo praises JICA for energy sector impact. We'll pay attention to the rest of the papers. We've been joined at the phone line by Felicity Ahafianyo. Good morning, Felicity, and thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, good morning, Johnny. Thanks for having us.
Great. Yesterday you told us it would rain, and indeed it did rain. What are we to expect today?
We thank God it rained over some places, but others couldn't get the liquid. It was just cloudy and making it comfortable for outdoor activities. For today, we are not expecting much activities over the entire country this morning. We are expecting it to be partly cloudy across the 60 regions, and we expect the sun to also smile on us today. By 2 p.m., we are having 40% chance of rain formations over Kuforidia, Achimda. Then later in the day, we expect it to spread to areas around Kumasi, Obuasi, Takwa, Seshibekwa, and Ketekrachi. Temperatures for the afternoon will be as high as 38 over the north, 34, 35 over the middle sector, 33 over the coastal strip. In terms of the state of the sea, we expect it to be rough. We are having some rain and thunder clouds towards the western coast around the half Aspen area and about 200 kilometers deep into the ocean. So those areas have some rain and thunder cloud formation for today. So fisher folks that wants to do deep fishing, they have to be extra careful. Water Lake is also pretty cool for any fishing activities this morning up to late afternoon, where we are expecting the 40% chance of rain and thundercloud formations around the eastern region. Akosombo and Pong area should watch out for that. So this is how we are expecting it to be for today.
I thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you, Felicity. Grateful that you joined us this morning with the update.
Yes, thank you too.
Great. 24 minutes after 6 here on 3FM 92.7. If you're getting ready to go out, you know what to do. It's going to be fairly good. 6-2's Don Ulo and William Asid, you're here. William, which papers do you have?
We have the Ghanaian Times this morning, most authoritative newspaper. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, Norway dismisses appeal case against Ghana. That's the Norway Supreme Court. We'll get into the details shortly. MPP performs better despite global economic challenges. That's according to the party's chairman, Mr. Intim. Trade unions, others kick against new tax laws, and Easter message roll out measures to alleviate hardship. That's the clergy telling government and the private sector. Front page, the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Don't sell drugs to unlicensed retailers and peddlers. Pharmacy Council cautions wholesalers. That's for the Ghanaian Times.
Okay.
The Finder. Tourism to attract 1.2 million arrivals and generate 3.4 billion in 2023. That's according to Dr. Awal. Then maybe we wouldn't need IMF.
He's been silent for a long time. Interesting.
Dr. Mbawumia encourages optimism and will make a good president. That is according to Sami Ewuku. MPP elects flag bearer on November 4, sitting MPs on February 24th. 2024. Immigration officer shot dead 2 others in critical condition. Economy showing signs of recovery. Give government some support. That's according to the chairman of the NPP.
6 News.
On the front page of Ghana's favorite newspaper, the Daily Guide, Donald Trump arrested in New York comes with the picture of the most realistic politician to have ever lived. The man that many people admire so much for his realism, his practicality. As the Ashanti regional minister would say, we have to stop pampering people. Still on that front page, MPP set for 2024 with election dates. The story is on page 6 of the paper, comes with the picture of national chairman of the party smiling away. The future looks bright for him. Free SHS has improved education. This is UCC Dawn. Story is on page 3. And Norway Supreme Court dismisses appeal against Ghana. Comes with a very confident Attorney General Godfred Yeboah Dame. I'm ready for NPP presidential race. Joe Gatti,
former railway minister, MP for
former
Esikado Ketan.
He said he's ready. Deputy Speaker. He's very ready.
He's ready.
On the back page of the Daily Guide newspaper, Ghana commissions Alajo AstroTurf, and you see Chelsea line up 7 coaches to replace Potter, and Messi unlikely to extend PSG stay. And you have Kudus gets Forbes nomination.
Okay.
We have the Republic Press as well.
Okay.
On the front page, it says tagline, serving the Republic. Aren't we all supposed to be serving the Republic?
We are.
You have
as
new ministers.
Citizens, not spectators.
As citizens, not spectators. New ministers sworn in. Dr. Brian Champong is imposed with President Akufo-Addo. Very beautiful photo by Photo God. And Jose Mensah justifies ministerial snub of school feeding caterers. I like this headline, ministerial snub.
Yeah, it was a snub, actually.
Okay, you have Apollonia Chief Bars Teeth, warns encroachers and land grabbers. Also, in team defense, Akufo-Addo record. The national chairman of the party seemed to be on all the front pages. And you have Opuni breathes easy as Kukuboard case starts afresh. On the back page, they are blessed with only advertorials.
Yeah, we wish them well. Well, the Director General of the Legal and Prosecution of the Ghana Police Service, Commissioner Nathan Kofi Boakye, will officially retire from service today, Wednesday, April 5, 2023, a day which coincides with his 60th birthday. Kofi Boakye is affectionately known as Commander One, and his exit is bound to create a vacuum in the service. As at the press time Tuesday evening, there was no official communication on when the Ghana Police Service would organize the honorary pull-out ceremony for its newly resigned Director General of Legal and Prosecution, COP, Kofi Boakye. The new publisher can, however, confirm there would be a private Thanksgiving and prayer service for COP Kofi Boakye at his residence in Accra this morning. This is on page 2 of the publisher newspaper. The retiring Commissioner of Police is an astute lawyer who made a reputable name for for himself in the service and became a household name across the country in 2005 when he was an ACP and led a team of men from the Greater Accra region, the regional police command, to arrest a notorious armed robber Tai and some members of his dangerous gang. Kofi Boakye goes home today. We are live.
No, is it resign or retire?
Well,
but the words keep.
Well, so Kofi Boakye resigns. That's what the headline says. But then his birthday is today. He turned 60.
And then I had retire too. So
right,
but they can't be the same.
They can't be the same. But given the fact that even the present IGP is on contract and most COPs are on contract, I mean, I'm sure they are playing around those ones.
No, but officially, and you see, they're not even able to for that.
Exactly, they're not even able to tell. I mean, William will tell you, and I'll tell you as well, that if you served at that high in that high office, you're supposed to be pulled out. There's supposed to be a proper pull-out ceremony for you. They are not sure if that will happen today, because if he is indeed being retired by the police, that pull-out ceremony is a must. It's a giving.
No, but I think that the writer probably should have been using such words as expected to retire or expected to resign. I mean, resignation is very different from retirement.
Right.
And we can't play with the two words.
We can't play with the two words, yes.
We can't
play with the two words.
If he's 60, officially, we know that he's to retire. Except where, of course, he gets some extension. That would normally be a 1-year contract.
No, these days it goes beyond 1 year. These days, that's why I said let the retirees go, let the young grow.
Find out what exactly.
Yeah, so we need
have to find out exactly what it is. But Kofi Boakye has really served the country in many different capacities. I remember when he was in the Ashanti region as regional commander, in the Western region as well. I mean, wherever he goes, you feel his aura and his authority around the police, and I'm sure the police will miss him. Many had wished that he would have, gone on to become IGP at some point in his career. But
in fact, it was some analysis that we did when just before the current IG came in or took over.
Right.
All the names that came up, and he was strongly represented in all the analysis that you would do for the next person to have taken the high office of IG. So I think that, I mean, he has distinguished himself. He's done a good job for himself and for his country, and he deserves our respect for that. Absolutely. I remember one of the very popular comments that is usually made about him. This was especially when he was in Kumasi. The commentary would often go like, crime is down because
there's peace. The robbers are free.
Are on break.
Kofi Boakye is in town.
Kofi Boakye is in town.
I remember when he went to one of the towns in Kumasi and told the police, "Mama, I'm a man for girls." So when you do that, you compromise your.
I mean, 2 years ago, or was that 3 years ago, I was a participant in the New Year school where he presented a paper on the police security, this whole politicization of the Ghana Police Service and its effects on security and the integrity of the police. And this was a wonderful piece he submitted. You would admire him for how real he is. Yeah. He doesn't mince words. He says what it is. He says what he believes and what should it be. He would say it as it is. He's a man that we should praise.
We should praise, yeah. Dr. Bawumia is set to launch his campaign, and Samuel who stuck his neck out for Dr. Bawumia says he will be a very great president given the opportunity. I'm not sure he's the only one singing the praise of Dr. Bawumia, but again, if you look at what the totality of Ghanaians are saying, and whether or not Dr. Bawumia really has been in charge of the economy, and how people expect him to have been forthcoming with some information and some clarification when the need be, and then he would rather choose to do digitalization instead of the economy. People are asking whether or not we should give him another opportunity as a country. I mean, I don't know what you think, but clearly it does look like within the MPP he and Alan Kojo Tremantin, well, now Joe Gatti has said he's ready to lead, but he and Alan Kojo Tremantin seem to be the ones at the forefront, and Kennedy Japan at the forefront of the NPP flag bearer.
I have the same story on page 11 of the Republic Press. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. The name, is it Mahmoud?
It's Mahmoud. It's Mahmoud.
What's the other one? There are three different.
Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. In fact, when you go to his hometown, they don't say Baumia, they say Baumia.
Ah, well.
Baumia. Mahmoud Baumia. Yeah.
He's the best amongst all the NPP flag bearer aspirants, and that's by Sami Oku. That's the same story.
Exactly.
I expect all the people in the Nanado camp. I'm doing a TV and people are seeing.
Well, people are seeing you on social media, on Facebook. The Nanado faction.
The Nanado faction.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as possible, the parties often try to run away from factionalism within their ranks.
But it's there.
We know. So all those who swear allegiance to President Akufo-Addo, I ordinarily would expect them to go with Dr. Baumia because of the symbol of Dr. Baumia in the NPP and because of the kind of work he did for the party to come to power. I mean, we can't run away from the fact that he was instrumental in the last election that, in fact, the two last elections that brought the NPP to power and saw the retention of President Akufo-Addo. He demonstrated. I remember how he came by the name Economic Wizkid. Yes,
his wife,
demonstrated.
Samira Baumia, said he was an economic Wizkid.
Yeah. And he demonstrated that Ghanaians fell in love with him for how easily he presented the difficulties of the time that seemed so out of the ordinary. He was able to break all these issues down, pulled people along, made people understand what the problem of the day was and how the NPP led by Nanado and deputized by him were going to deal with that problem. As to whether they were able to to apply or find the proper medicine for the diagnosis that they themselves gave, it's a different level of the conversation. But at least he demonstrated that. He demonstrated knowledge, he demonstrated mastery.
Well, the bottom line is that you've demonstrated mastery, you've demonstrated your academic prowess and everything else. The people are looking for the bread and butter issues. At the end of the day, what is their pocket broadcasting to them? What exactly is their pocket telling them? That's what they want to know. And in all of these conversations, it's interesting to know that Alan Tremantin, the former Greek minister, Dr. Baumia himself have all been part of the economic management team of the country. Until recently, well, Dr. Baumia is still part of the economic management team, but the two have resigned. The question now is, what scorecard are they bringing forward to win the hearts of not just MPP faithful? Because you can't win elections, at least since we started this journey in 1992. You cannot win an election as a political party with just your supporters. You need the other side to join you, or you need the people in the middle to join you. What scorecard are they going to present to the people? That's the key question, because we are still not out of the woods, even though we're selling dollar now at 11 cedis, some 10.8 in certain places. It's beginning to look good. But again, people always go back to the scorecard. What is your scorecard?
Well, I would go back to the tradition of the NPP as I know it. Because when President Akufo was leaving office, we had the former Vice President Aliu Mahama also contesting, and how he fared, and then how some if you like factions within the MPP put pressure on President Akufo to let Nanado go, because then it was Alan and Nana, and we all knew that President Akufo was behind Alan. I mean, that was the word around.
That's right.
And I've spoken to some people in the MPP who told me about that kind of tradition. So if you talk about tradition, the tradition favors Alan now. And if you talk about delegates, the word we have, according to statistics, according to some survey reports that we've had, that if you look at in terms of within the party, they are looking at Baumia. But if you look at the national level, Ghanaians, they are also thinking Alan. And if you look at the tradition of the MPP, is favoring Alan. So we're looking at how all these are going to play out. Now, if you leave the party circles in terms of the delegates and what they can do, and you come to the national front, what is Dr. Bawumia going to tell us Ghanaians to convince us that he can do?
That's the scorecard I'm asking for.
Yes. So if that's what is going to play out when he leaves the party circles and comes into the national space.
Right.
If he comes to the national space, maybe Alan can shift small from Nanado's, if you like, government. He that's what I'm saying. A little.
Can he do
That's what I'm
that?
saying, a little.
Can you do that?
He
Because
has started doing that already.
well, but people say he was part of the problem.
That's what I'm saying. That I'm not saying that it will. I'm just doing the analysis. I'm just doing
That he has already begun that course.
and he can do that for a little while, for a very short circuit. He can't go too far because like, he's there, but he has started doing that campaign. That look, I mean, I'm here, I'm bringing new ideas, GTP or whatever you want to call it. It is not part of the existing process or status quo. I'm bringing freshness and so on and so forth. So it's good. The MPP primaries are going to, I mean, play out in a very interesting way. And I'm looking at a certain Communal Japan because he doesn't have any of these baggages. He seems to be somebody who speaks to authority, who is facing the reality when anytime he speaks. And he cannot be tagged with the Akufo-Addo government so much because he hasn't been part of it as a whole in terms of the governance. I don't remember him getting
even though
he would actually
yes,
he would actually get some sympathy votes from people within the party who think that he, Sami Krap, and Afoko were chased out of the party unfairly.
Yes.
And so he would get that sympathy vote, and then he would get that forthright.
Yes.
You know, for the people who think that we need a forthright person.
Will that be enough to give him the nod?
Those are, but I interviewed him, and if you listen to his tone, he seems to be more of a nationalist now than a party person. And he brings to the table credentials of somebody who had worked closely with Nana, spoken for the party, been at the presidency here and there. So experience is not a problem for him at all. He has been in the heat, in the thick of things, both in opposition and in government. So he understands. He has worked with President Kufuor before. He understands the game. But then at this point, is that what the MPP needs? Because if you speak to most MPP people, they want the Kennedy Japan kind of fire. They don't want another, if you put John Mahama and Alan Tremantin on the same wavelength, they are all, laid back, cool, calm, collected, not the Donald Trumpish kind of. Kennedy Japan brings that Donald Trump, Takashi kind of, let's go.
But Ken, as for Ken.
But
I mean,
there are people who love him.
You see, people love him. But as I've always said, if you want to get to Z and you are at A, you should be looking at what is happening around Z. So that if you want to be president, and that's why I always will put President Kufuor and sometimes President Mahama before all of them, because President Mahama, when he was in office, the way he carried himself, he got to a point Ghanaians were even calling him to come. I remember when it was time for him to come and stand as running mate, he was out of the country. They literally had to beg him. But Kennedy Japan, if you knew you wanted to be president,
no, indeed. If you listen to the story as told by Speaker Bagbin, they begged him.
I know.
Exactly.
The offer.
So,
that you are the best guy for the job.
Best guy for the job. But sometimes to that statement is tricky.
Honorable, you win already.
Yes, and President Kufuor, when he wanted to be president, and he wanted to be a top politician, at the age of 28, thereabouts, he conducted himself so well. He was deputy foreign minister. He grew through the ranks, and he became president. And then Akufo-Addo, he has had his own problem lately, but he was also there. I mean, I met him in 91, thereabout in Cape Coast with Communal Japan, his spokesperson. You could say he also wanted to be president. So they become president. But Kennedy Japan...
And you can see that in the likes of Sami Uku, trying to...
Sam George,
Ablakwa.
So if you want to be chief executive of a company and you come day one, you should be. But you want to be president, you have all the qualities that we need as Africans. We need people who can push people around to do their job. But the culture of the country of Africa does not allow elders to stoop so low.
Setting
But there are
utterances and
outliers. I mean, the
actions.
same thing was said about Donald Trump.
But what has come of
You see,
him?
Well, today he's in
what
court.
has become of
He's
him?
before court.
but he won the presidency, and
but-
the people demonstrated they loved him.
How
but
did
at the
he
end of the
perform?
day,
How did he
at the end
perform?
of the day,
That's another level of it. You see, I'm only saying
I'm
this
not saying
because
to- oh, you
I'm
see,
only
the
saying this
analysis is that-
because
where we are now,
it's always
says to-
as if it's always as if
I'm
when
not saying
somebody
to
wants
work
to
or not
become
work for you.
president, there's a certain criteria posturing that you must show to the people.
Right.
But I mean, there are times also, like you put it, Johnny, that you want the kind of person who breaks all the odds,
the go-getter.
who doesn't tick the
All the
ordinary boxes that we would see. And I'm not talking about people being insulting and
Trump,
all of
Trump
that.
is that, if you like, hot and everything. But Ken, has gone very low before.
The term we usually would use is politically incorrect.
No, but the
or
man-
political
the man
correctness.
sometimes was
but
very
you see
offensive.
people.
I mean,
take for instance the Ashanti regional minister story we looked at yesterday, which is still running.
Well, he can't be president.
But he is not. You see, the Ashanti regional minister is
Never
not,
rule out
is not-
anyone.
We
is not-
give you small regional minister position. You know, we handle up
the Ashanti
after.
regional minister is snobbish.
Yeah.
But Ken is insult. I like him. I mean, I see myself
Would you
with him in
say
a lot of
Trump-
ways.
Trump
Well,
is
I'm just doing the analysis.
Would you say Trump is
I mean, it's for me. The insults are a no.
Why? The man
And sometimes
has
they
come down
and sometimes
to
they
deal with people like a Schwarzenegger and people that I will not engage in the banter.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the words they use, you know. And I'm saying that
I don't know.
I can't say that. I can't say someone.
why you say he knows?
But it's because I can't say them on air.
So you say he knows.
If you talk about the job, I've said here that when it comes to some of these things, we also look at the person's competence, and I think the guy can do the job.
Yeah.